This is John King. I'm speaking with Nancy Keenan, and Nancy, you're basically the head of the Democratic Party when it comes to the state of Montana. Is that right?
That's right. I'm the executive director of the Montana Democratic Party, and of course we have a board that governs that. But yeah, I'm the day-to-day keep the trains moving.
Okay. Now, a lot of people are at, I guess, keeping with the train metaphor, at a roundabout and very confused when it comes to the issue of delegates and superdelegates and special Montana rules for these superdelegates. I was kind of hoping you could explain the system here in the state for listeners. What do we have superdelegates? What are they?
Yeah, sure. And yes, we do have superdelegates. Montana is allotted, the Montana Democratic Party is allocated 27 total delegates. 6 of them are superdelegates, and that happens to be Senator John Tester, Governor Steve Bullock, our chair and vice chair at the party, and then the National Committee man and the National Committee woman. So those are the 6 that are, quote-unquote, superdelegates. And our delegates, the rest, the 21 other delegates, will be apportioned after our primary in June, which is June 7th. And so it has been both tradition and historical, and a little bit broadly in our rules that those delegates maintain neutrality throughout the contested primary. So until June, when everybody in Montana gets to vote, then you will see an allocation of the 21 delegates based on the vote number total, and then the superdelegates will also align themselves with a presidential candidate.
So even if I get him a bottle of wine and some flowers and some chocolate and arrange a meeting for Mr. Bullock this weekend, no matter how many times I ask, he won't tell me who he's leaning towards.
That's right. That's right, and that's kind of the tradition of the Montana Democratic Party, where we maintain neutrality. We let, we're enthused and excited about what's happening across the country, but obviously we vote later in June, and at that time, both Montana Democrats make their minds known, make their vote known. And at that time, usually our superdelegates do as well.
Now, you had mentioned tradition, but you had also mentioned partially in the law. Is it both? I mean,
well, not the law, rules.
I'm sorry, the rules.
We're governed by rules.
Okay.
And basically, again, it's been something that we think is the right thing to do, and that is to maintain neutrality throughout a contested primary. And so, people probably have their own opinions, but when they go into that voting booth, they get to vote for who they want. And then once that process is over in June, it's when our superdelegates are headed off, and our delegates are headed off to the National Democratic Convention that they will disclose and or let folks know who they are throwing their support to. As most people know, on TV we watch when they say the great state of Montana, big sky country, casts X amount of delegate votes for whichever candidate. So that process is the next process after the primary in June.
And the great state of Montana has slightly more votes than Guam.
Yes, we do. We have 27 delegates that we're very proud of, and quite honestly, so that's another part of this process. Primary happens on the 7th. The Montana Democratic Party will meet the 10th and 11th. Those delegates will be selected by their peers, not the superdelegates. They're set in stone. But the delegates, the 21 other delegates, will be selected by their colleagues, and then off they go to Philadelphia this year.
Now, are there any special rules for the delegates themselves? Not the superdelegates, but the regular delegates?
There again, we haven't chosen our delegates yet, because that's based on a formula once the vote is taken in on June 7th, the primary. So it's allocated according to the numbers of votes that a Hillary Clinton would receive versus a Bernie Sanders would receive.
Sure,
so,
I guess
we don't even know who those delegates are yet.
Oh, I get that. I understand that. I guess my question my question is this. So, and this is a question that spawns out of some questions I had with the Republicans recently, and it comes from that they reformed some of their rules about how the delegates can and can't vote. And I guess my question was this. So let's say Hillary Clinton, just picking just pick a different year. Okay, let's just say President Obama, okay, wins the majority of the votes in Montana. Actually, I think Hillary did win that year in Montana. Can the delegates, when they go, and these are just regular delegates, can they choose not to vote the way that Montana decided to vote? I
think that those delegates, and again, they've changed the rules at the national level, but as my understanding is those delegates have to be reflective of the vote on June 7th. They can't just willy-nilly go and decide who they're going to be for. But, there will be Bernie delegates, there will be Hillary delegates, there will be conversations at the National Convention if, obviously, this is a close race. It's all by formula, so it's not just people can do what they want.
Okay, all right. Well, Nancy, thank you so much for spending your time with us. You
bet, my pleasure, and exciting time, and we look to victory in 2016.
We'll have a romantic and presidential next couple of days, okay?
I appreciate that. You as well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.